Lu Fan stood quietly for a while, staring at his dragon egg. All its normal mechanisms came from the same mechanism. No past, no parents. But the blade-armored dragon was different. Its mother had saved it from Mary. It hadn't hatched yet Lu Fan felt something scream inside it. As if it was calling for its mother's scent, its home. Lu Fan took a deep breath. "We shouldn't rush," he muttered. He was enjoying admiring the state archives and seeing the condition of all the dragons. The next moment, his face crumpled. How is this possible? His bones thinned. The newborn blade-armored dragon was only at the first level, yet every attribute had given it 3,000 points. Yes, how is this possible? Lu Fan's gaze remained fixed on the little dragon. Now everything was clear. The crystal core left by the blood-armored Dragon King wasn't just to save his life. It was a blessing. That crystal had shaped this little creature into something extraordinary from the moment of its birth. A sacred being endowed with high virtues and divine aura. A wave of deep peace and respect arose in Lu Fan's heart. He said softly, as if to himself, "So, this armor-binding skill." He paused, lost in thought. This skill was similar to that of the Divine Bone Dragon King, a technique that erased the boundaries between creature and armor. This dragon could transform itself into equipment at will and bestow all its qualities and skills upon its master. A faint smile returned to Lu Fan's lips. By combining the divine bone material and the blade armor chest piece, he had accomplished the same feat as the blood-armored Dragon King. The status window floating before him slowly faded, then vanished in an instant. His voice, echoing in the void, was steady and confident. "I am now in the secret realm of the divine ruins." A blue glow shone in his eyes. "And now, I can completely control Ningxuan." In that moment, a new surge of power flowed from within Lu Fan, as if he had gained control over not just an ally, but an entire realm. It was very hot, so Lu Fan immediately set up his tent there and rested for the night. When Lu Fan woke up in the morning, he saw the dragon and smiled. After waiting all night, this python has now become normal and has finally decided to stay with us. Meanwhile, all of Lu Fan's dragons began to awaken from their slumber one by one. A pale blue light spread within the cave, as if the divine energy emanating from their bodies was illuminating the atmosphere itself. Lu Fan slowly approached the young dragon and sat down next to it. The dragon's eyes shone, as if it contained echoes of both heaven and earth. Lu Fan said calmly, "Actually, I knew it was different when it was born. It's different, very powerful, and terrifying." He stroked its head. There was a sense of familiarity in the touch, but also the strength of a warrior within. "Your mobility is truly amazing." Then he smiled and said, "Why don't you adopt the bloody armor bond? If you do, I'll equip you, and myself, so we can become one." The dragon's eyes shone, and the next moment, its body resonated. A strange dark red aura began to spread around it, accompanied by a faint metallic clang. The energy slowly moved towards Lu Fan, enveloping him. A deep divine voice echoed through the air. "Blood armor bond." Lu Fan's body was enveloped in the aura. In an instant, the armored dragon began to transform. Its scales melted into glowing red blades, which embedded themselves in Lu Fan's chest. The blood armor instantly clung to Lu Fan's chest, making him overjoyed. All of Lu Fan's attributes and skills were absorbed into the blood armor. Lu Fan's victory skills were blood armor, and sickle. Lu Fan seemed very happy to receive this armor, because it had inherited all of Lu Fan's qualities, as well as all the qualities and skills of the blood armor dragon. Lu Fan seemed very happy. Lu Fan took out his sharp wings. He wanted to test their power. Then he jumped into the air and said, "Since you have accepted my blood, let me test its power once." Lu Fan flew into the air, and then he felt something strange and stopped. He charged forward. Ripping through the air, a second scythe immediately followed, and then a third, all in quick succession. Red hook-like blades flashing through the air, hurtling toward their target. In an instant, they pierced a distant rock and pulled their target toward Lu Fan, shattering it into pieces with an explosion. Amidst the metallic sound that echoed through the air, Lu Fan looked at his palm. A sly smile appeared on his face. "This is truly a masterful attack," he said softly, his voice filled with both admiration and excitement. His other dragons standing nearby shuddered at the sight. A slight fear flashed in their eyes, as if they understood that their master had now reached another level. But Lu Fan wasn't satisfied yet. A glint of curiosity flashed in his eyes. He turned and looked toward the distant mountains. Let's see how far this limit goes. He refocused his energy. In an instant, the blood armor scythe resurfaced, and as it struck the mountains, the earth shook. The mountains shattered with a roar, rocks flying into the air like dust. In a matter of seconds, what was once a towering mountain was reduced to a mere pile of stones and smoke. Lu Fan realized that it possessed attack defense, crowd control, and damage reflection capabilities. All of these powers were amazing. It was truly amazing. Lu Fan then thought about testing that ultimate skill. And he did. He soared high into the air and activated the divine aura light blood armor. Lu Fan felt as if divinity was flowing through his body. The power flowing through his veins was now many times greater than before. It wasn't just power, it was holy energy. Now even his normal attacks had become as sacred as Chin Chin's. A wave of pure light resonated with each strike. He clenched his fist. The air around him began to vibrate. At the same time, he felt a new ability awaken within him. He could continuously heal himself in any situation, even in the middle of battle. This completely eliminated the blood armor dragon's greatest weakness, the limitation to healing outside of battle. Lu Fan smiled to himself and ordered, "Switch to dark blood armor." In an instant, a purple aura spread around him. The aura gradually thickened and then transformed into divine energy, enveloping his body. The armor took on a new form, dark blood armor, an armor that simultaneously embodied the energy of both shadow and divine power. Lu Fan looked at its stats and was deeply impressed. This armor continuously generated shadow energy, and thanks to the properties acquired from the Divine Bone Dragon King, even ordinary attacks now provided a massive damage bonus. After examining everything, Lu Fan took a deep breath and returned to his normal form. His gaze fell upon his blood-armored dragon again. Let the blood dragon level up further, he thought. Then I'll use it to its full potential. Now, a strange peace filled him. The preparations for the secret area of the divine ruins were complete. Lu Fan looked back at his team, all his dragons and followers. His voice was firm and calm. "Everyone, get ready. We're opening the area. It's time to return home." Hearing his words, all his animals' eyes lit up with joy. They smiled gently, as if they had finally received the promise of rest after a long battle. A short while later, Lu Fan activated the portal. A vortex of blue energy opened, and he bowed one last time to all the officials in the Tianfu area and said goodbye. Then, with his companions, he passed through the glowing portal land in the blink of an eye. They all returned to Jangghai City. Back home, Yang Ying and everyone else are surprised to see Lu Fan. Aunt Han comes forward and says, "Hey, Lu Fan, you're back," and immediately hugs him. Lu Fan knew Aunt Han must be missing him a lot. That's why she's so emotional. And then Aunt Han smiled and said, "I went grocery shopping, so why don't you invite Xiao and me over for dinner?" Jian Zhong agreed, saying, "Today is Tao Jiaoji's free lunch day. She's definitely coming. So, Sister Han should just forget who she is. Everyone else is coming. Lu Fan listened with a smile and argued, "Wow, I have a few things to tell everyone too." Then everyone left.